Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner, and today we're going to be talking about an album that came out late 2022 that had it come out earlier in the year. I guarantee you it would have been in my top 5. In fact, right now, I'm thinking Ben Craven might be really lucky that this one came out late, but no, really, I think if I had to re-sequence and re-rank the albums of 2022, this is the only one that's going to make any significant change. And right now, I'd probably put it at the number 2 album of 2022. It's that good. We're talking about Verbal Delirium and Conundrum today. Yeah, what an amazing record it is. I am so pleased to have it in my collection. I knew about Verbal Delirium. These guys are from Greece. They formed in 2009, put out their first album, So Close and Yet So Far Away, in 2010. In 2013, From the Small Hours of Weakness came out. My first encounter with him was 2016's The Imprisoned Words of Fear, really good record. And then he went on and did a solo album in 2020. The lead singer, Jargon, did The Fading Thought, really, really good. Last year, he provided the vocals for Drifting Suns, Forsaken Innocence, an amazing record that made my top 25 of last year. And now we come to this one, Conundrum. Oh my goodness. Jargon, John Cosmides. He not only does all the vocals and all the composing, but he is the keyboard player here, so all the keys are him, and he is really, really good. I'm really happy to have his keyboards all over this thing. He is joined by George K. Kirakidis on guitar. The rhythm section is George Pagidas on bass, and Vasilis Wilbo Armeos on drums. And there's a flute and a sax player by the name of Nicholas Nikolopoulos who plays on the title track. That's the people on the album. It's a short record. It only runs about 50 minutes long. The cover art is really grayscale. All their records are really grayscale. This new one got a little bit of green in there, so you can see a little bit of life coming up in their music. Absolutely. Demetrius Sortseeds did the cover. Really cool artwork. And this record is available on Bad Elephant Records. If you want to check it out, you really should. Apparently, it's only available on CD. There is no vinyl for any of the Verbal Delirium albums, and that's a problem for me. But anyway, we're going to talk about some of these tracks a little bit. Starts out with a song called Falling, and it's in D minor using a Dorian scale, so it's got that exotic Eastern kind of feel to it. It stays with that D in the bass all the way through the song. You get the squealing guitars over the top, and then some really crazy anarchic dissonant keyboards, piano back there creating a real racket with the orchestral strings, the synth strings, playing some really cool stuff in the background. It kind of reminds me of if Peter Hamill played in Saga a little bit. The last lyrics on this, he talks about I am death. The song Falling sets it all up. This guy's in the process of falling. Next song is In Pieces. It stays in D, keeps that guitar mode going, but it starts out actually sounding like Eminem's Lose Yourself. I thought I was watching 8 Mile there for a minute. Chorus comes and it takes us more into Beatles, ELO, Queen type of territory. As you get towards the end of the song, it goes from that D minor into the relative major F, and then for the long extended coda on this song, it goes into F minor. It's really powerful, and it's got this weird orchestral and choral stuff that makes me think of Orff's Carmina Burana a little bit there. And then the heavy guitars coming in, the strings, kind of makes you think of Neil Morse Band a little bit. The lyrics here, sometimes we have to do wrong. Yeah, this guy's thinking about some stuff he's been doing in the past, or maybe that, he's been doing recently. Next song is Intruders, and after all the darkness of the first 2 songs, it's kind of fun because this one starts with a little Wurlitzer keyboard, little piano with hand claps. It's in C major, so it's real happy and bright and shiny and all that kind of stuff. It goes C, G, C, G, C, G, and then A major, which is kind kind of a weird thing because it's the 5 of 2, but I love it. And then it goes into some sunshine pop territory, and then some chamber pop. Kind of sounds like if the Beach Boys were listening to better music. There have been comparisons to Jim Steinman and Meatloaf here from the dramatics and the theatrical nature of jargon singing. I absolutely hear it. I'm actually thinking a little bit of Rocky Horror Picture Show a little bit on some of these songs. They're just so theatrical. I can almost picture them on stage. Cardiacs and Sparks are another couple of reference points that I'm hearing in this track. And the last lyrics on this song, I don't exist, I am nothing. So then we get into the fourth track, which is kind of the transitional piece. It's quiet, it's nice, it's got a little haunting piano riff, and Jargon sings in falsetto. This is kind of the break point between the earlier, more catchy, more up-tempo stuff, and the latter half of the album where the real great progressive stuff comes in, starting with the title track, the fifth track, Conundrum. This thing's amazing. It's an instrumental. It's kind of klezmer-y in that the aforementioned Nicholas Nikolopoulos comes in with his clarinet and sax, so it kind of sounds like a Balkan gypsy folk music. Is just amazing. Then it goes into this middle section that makes me really think of Happy the Man. Some of the humorous type of instrumental stuff Happy the Man did on the early stuff, like Stumpy meets Firecracker at Stencil Forest or something like that. It's just fantastic. Then the keys kick up towards the end, and we're in ELP territory, but it kind of makes me think of a couple of Italian bands I've been listening to a lot lately, Logos and Ellesmere. Definitely some reference points there. Next up is The Watcher. This is the second longest song on the album. It's 9 minutes. It starts out all herky-jerky, kind of like XTC. You've got dissonant, syncopated guitar and piano going back and forth doing their thing, kind of making me think a little bit of Discipline maybe there. Then there's that dreamy chorus. It's just really, really great. Then you get into some heavier stuff, which kind of makes me think of Transatlantic meets Genesis, if you can picture that. And then it goes into this breezy section that sounds like you're driving down the Pacific Coast Highway, kind of making me think of the middle section of MacArthur's Park a little bit. You can kind of almost imagine the wind blowing through your hair and everything. And then it ends with like a carnival-esque kind of thing before going back to the original riff, which is almost like a tango or a bossa nova. It's just so cool. The penultimate track is the longest song here at 9.5 minutes. It's called Neon Eye Cage, and it talks about, how we are all just so much enslaved to technology. The first lyrics in the song go, wake up and type the password and log into another day in life. Throughout the song, there's all kinds of tech references and social media references. Talks about waking up and saying hi to the faces on the book, posting selfies, his photoshopped body, scroll down and see, comment down below, his private wall is up, IMHO, LMAO, life hacks, autocorrect. He's talking about all that stuff in this song. When you read the lyric sheet, it sounds like it wouldn't work, but it totally does. Then the song ends with that Laurel Canyon thing starting up again. Press escape, log out, and get back to reality. Touch my hand, give me a real hug. Do you feel? Just a really, really great song. But then the album ends on such an incredibly high note, such an emotional note. The song is called Fall from Grace. Yeah, we started the album with a song called Falling, and now here we are. We have absolutely fallen now, and he's talking about how he's betrayed the one that he loves most, and he's begging for her forgiveness. There's some real powerful chords in the beginning, but then it goes to the last section of the song, the coda, and these powerful riffs come up. You've got the tritone reintroduced here. It's just so incredibly powerful and disjointed and making me feel all kinds of things here that I didn't really know I wanted to feel. He's singing about a space between us now, dividing lines around, look what I have done. So how are you going to see me now that I have let you down and betrayed your trust in me? Yeah, big ol' teardrop falling when that and Peace Comes. Like I said, Ben Craven's lucky this album came out late because it would have given him a run for the money for Album of the Year. And Ryo Okamoto's lucky because the aforementioned Fall from Grace might have been my Song of the Year. I had Chrysalis by Ryo Okamoto as my Song of the Year, but that's how good this record is. How am I going to score it? Oh yeah, I think it's pretty obvious I'm going to score this. This record is absolutely perfect. I really, really enjoy it a lot. Yeah, for me to be reviewing an album from last year, clearly I'm digging this record. I listened to it all the way through Christmas and New Year. I kept trying to listen to, like the new Riverside and stuff like that, but I kept going back to Verbal Delirium. It refuses to leave my CD player, and therefore I had to do an album review of it to start 2023 off with possibly the best record of 2023. Again, sorry, Ben Craven, who I guess I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to die on that hill. Ben Craven's Monsters from the Id is the best album of 2022. But Verbal Delirium Conundrum is a very, very close second, my friends. Anyway, I got a lot of great stuff lined up for you freaks coming up this year. Thank you so much for checking in here this morning. I will see you soon. Peace in the Middle East. I love you. God save the king.